let me get back to the till, no till. The reason I can promote both is specifically for circumstance. So tomorrow's show is going to be more about building soil in the area, but before you can do that, you have to be able to mix in the components or ignore it totally. But if you're going to be mixing in, tillage is an option that you can use. So the first thing to understand goes back to, again, to the biology, and understanding that when you do till, okay, you're literally an extinction level event for the biology that is in the soil already. Now, you're not going to kill them all, but you're going to kill a lot. You're going to break up any aggregation that's already there. So consider aggregation basically as a planet, okay? For the biology, it's where they all come together, just like a city we have, okay? So the less you disturb that, the better. So unless you have really, really bad soil and you need to uh, add a lot of different things into the soil structure itself, the less tillage, the better. You're always better. And think of it this way, ladies for shaving your legs, guys for shaving your face. If you get a razor cut, okay, it's very thin, it's very small, generally speaking, and it heals very, very fast because everything is there. It's tight, and the cells can be rebuilt very, very quickly. Now, if you take a spoon and gouge out a hunk, then you got a real problem. And well, that's major tilling. You've got that big problem, right? So you need to do more to fix that problem than you would if you just had a small cut. So that's where I know that if you need to rebuild your soil, okay, like Rhythm is saying, Oklahoma clay here. So it's that clay that you need to work with, and that's going to be more part of tomorrow's program on how to deal with that. But that's one of the things. Or if you just have a lot of sand, okay, if you're in Nevada, like our guest on Monday, who's growing out in the desert sands, he needs to really work with that soil. And there's different ways that you can do it. You can do it over time, or you can do it quickly. And what I'm going to be talking about really is a quick method to do this. A lot of people don't have a season or 2 seasons that they want to invest in building their soil structures. So let's say you're starting with any soil type. You rip out the grass, or if it was a field, a crop field, you're ripping out that, and you're starting from a fresh piece of land. Now you have a lot of different options that you can work with, and one of the ones that you can do that's an absolute no-till is lasagna. Okay, so you're putting cardboard down or that tarp down to cook off what's there. And literally, like if you're using a black tarp and you have a lot of sun and heat, you're literally cooking what's underneath there to kill it off. Okay, so if you're cooking it, what's going to happen? You're going to be killing off the higher layers of biology that can't handle that heat. Okay, so it can be detrimental to do it that way, but then it really depends on what are you going to do on top of that. Okay, so Def says, would a soil test be applicable before tilling? You can do your soil test and before you till, yes. I would suggest you, if you're saying you're doing let's just a round figure of a 1 acre garden, okay? I would take actually 5 samples. I would do closer out to the corners and then one in the middle, mix them all together and send that in. Then you're going to get a broad spectrum of the entire piece of property that you're doing. Because then when we're talking tomorrow about building the soil up, that's when you're really going, that soil test is really going to be important for you. You're going to know what's missing.